This is a very important video because it shows the Apollo 11 flyover just before they land. It's very important because it actually shows the astronauts saw the alien moon bases as they flew over them. So this was more of a reconnaissance mission to get more observation of these bases, then land somewhere where they wouldn't be at risk. So we'll just see it go over the horizon, and mind you, this was 1969. So this is very important because it shows clear pictures rather than other Google, YouTube articles of Chinese satellites. Here we go, keep an eye on it, there it is. It's the first part flying over, second, third and fourth. And you'll see these large spheres and land bridges and square buildings. You didn't see it? Well, of course not. That's why most people didn't see it actually as they were watching their TVs in 1969. So we've paused it and we'll now go through it. This is where the sunlight gets it. There it is. That's the first bit. Right in the center, you'll see the towers, you'll see the zigzag platforms right there. That's a zigzag triangular shaped platform. Right in the center you'll see this tower, and on the right side you'll see other things. So basically this is the first glimpse of what we have of what an alien base looks like. And we'll compare this to Alex Collier's lectures, where he shows these alien bases don't look like our structures on Earth. They're more like curvy patterns, tunnels. This is his lecture, Alex Collier, and he shows a landing platform. That's the walkway. And this is very similar to the area they bombed in the L-Cross impact, the Cabeus crater. The structures there are very similar. There's a lift which he describes from the platform. They go down. And it just goes to show the things you'll see on alien bases on the moon. There's what looks like a crane or tall building there, and there's a zigzag structure which is a walkway from the landing pad. He believes this group is from Orion, this alien base here. Now these things would have been very hard for me to believe even 5 months ago. I would say this has all been done up in his garage, and he's put these photos there to pretend these are structures on the moon just to sell lectures. So that's how obviously skeptical I was of these structures exist, and in future episodes I'll show original NASA pictures where you actually see these things, and they're on the official NASA website. So it isn't as though for the first time you can't see these things. Here he points to the land bridge, which was about 21 miles. Let's go back to this. Here's one land bridge there. There's that step-like pattern. There's a crane, or there's a tower, and there's square structures with angles. And let's pause it. There's a beautiful square building on there. You can just see the square size on its own. That's amazing. There's a structure there as well, and there's one type of platform structure there. Let's go forward a bit. So the trick is here to pause it quick enough to get a clear image. There's a beautiful large structure there behind the cliff, and the whole thing here is to understand they don't look like structures on Earth. They're not just... There's a structure there as well, hidden there. It's more of a cylinder structure. And as we go further, if we pause it, we'll see a land bridge. We just didn't pause it in time. We'll have to go back. And there's one there as well that goes over. There it is as well. So these structures don't look like your typical skyscrapers in New York or Sydney and bridges don't look like your typical harbour bridge or anything like that. They're very curvy structures, and the rumour is that's why they landed always in South America. There's active volcanoes, and I knew someone whose grandma, here we go again, we'll pause it, used to stop and watch them suck up the molten lava inside. So that was their cement, I think, to build these structures. Look at that. It's a perfect step-like structure. That's on a platform as well. That's a right angle, and they're very similar to Alex. If you want to just look at Alex Collier's YouTube article, Alex Collier, Mars and Moon, episode 4, and you'll see him describe what these patterns look like. But again, we always ask, well, there it is, look at that. That's a perfect square building. Just take a good look at that. The other things are more like curvy structures. There's a cylinder there. That's excellent. That just shows you that's a perfect square one, which is quite rare. And there's a bridge there that goes down. So obviously this is an alien base. Hard to believe this was 1969. And the only other ones I've seen are the Chang'e 2 one, which was a Chinese satellite. Again, someone focuses in and says, look, look, look. Oh, look at that. That's just fantastic. That's just sitting there. That's a cylinder. To the left there was that land bridge. We'll freeze that. That looks like a structure on its own. And we're just going to try to home in on it. It's like a landing platform as well. Alex Collier describes this brilliantly in his lectures. And there's a land bridge. There's one that goes up like a serpent's head, and they're usually where the aircraft or spacecraft land, higher up, and then they've got their passageway further down. That's a typical land bridge. It just goes over all the structures. It's always curvy. It's very rarely... here's a nice building there. That's fantastic. So here we go. You see the sunlight. You pause it. You see it flying over the structures for a brief period. And whammo, it then starts to raise back up. So it seems as though it flies in very low on a reconnaissance mission to look at these structures. So Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and the third astronaut, I think his name was, I'll have to go research it. Now this is again Alex Collier's lecture where he shows one of these big structures there in that what looks like crater, and I'll show that from official NASA pictures in further episodes. They can be seen. You don't need to just rely on these pictures and say, well, these guys could have just done plasticine models in their garage to sell lectures, and this is big a business in the USA. So obviously it's a population of 200 million. And here we go. He describes those land bridges, and the ones that I'm highlighting there are the exactly the same ones you saw in that flyover by Apollo 11. So that's why these astronauts looked very, very nervous during their first interview after their landing. They were extremely nervous. They looked like they were threatened not to talk for interests of national security. Here we go. There's a tower there, horizontal structure. And they rightly should have kept quiet. I mean, why scare the human population? Oh, look at that. That's a good structure there. That's square-topped as well. I didn't see that one before. That's that larger platform there. There's that square one that we passed previously. It's just the more times you freeze it and go over it, the more things you see. But flying over it, it'll be a blur, but they would have seen it. There's that serpent's head type figure. And let's go through it again. Here we go. The sunlight pops up. There it is. That's your first sign. We'll freeze it. There's that perfect square building. There's the other one, which has a top bit to it. I don't know how to describe it. There's like a step-like structure going up there. Platform. You just have to freeze it yourself. So just Google YouTube Apollo 11 flyover. Oh, that's good. That's a little structure in there. It's a wall-like structure around it. There's a cylinder. Now the other room was this was a joint NSA alien base which was started up after '54 when Eisenhower had a treaty with the aliens that landed at Edwards Air Force Base. 12 UFOs landed. Look at that. These are perfectly sane structures just sitting there in a big platform. Now I thought that was all childhood fantasy until I've seen these pictures now live and just researched this inside out and saw my very own 12 UFOs. Ah, here we go, there's that structure, and there's another clear one next to it. And I saw the 12 UFOs fly over Sydney, 8th of June 2010. Ah, look at that. That's a clear, perfect image. There you've got a tunnel-like object. Underneath it feeds onto this like platform. There's a little thing on top. It's just too good, that. If you freeze these things in the right angle, you'll see a magical building forms. And mind you, this is not from someone's secret stash of photos that were passed down by someone who was a secret NASA informant, and you just can't believe those photos. There it is there, and it's like a serpent's head going up, or tower. And oh yeah, look at that, right in the corner there you got about 4 or 5 structures hidden on that cliff. One other tube leads down. Oh no, that's I think it's part of the TV documentary, that bit. Oh, there's a perfect one there in the cliff face. They look like machines, buildings. It's just hard to believe these things were there in '69. So the astronauts would have seen these things. Weren't they scared of flying over? Weren't they scared of being obviously attacked by these aliens? That's what would have come up to my mind. There it is again. We'll go through this so many times, it'll just stick in your mind. There it is again, the platforms, the tubular structure on the left. Look at that. That's such a clear picture. And there's one other one leads into it there. And these are images from 1969. Now I'll use official Apollo image atlas pictures just to show how these moon bases look from far away. I'll have to enlarge it using my iPhone, and I'll then add those pictures on in the next episode. So these are the ones that I've had to research, and you'll see magical things in there, which I'll do a whole separate episode. And I found the bases in the craters, which are round like domes. All these pictures that you've seen other presenters give, but then you think, well, where do they get them? I want to see it myself real somewhere in some sort of catalogue. And that's where this is so good now.